Instagram if this was something that people would be interested in having, and the resounding answer was yes. Also, my personal training and my fitness guys were like, yes, we need this prep work. So we're here in Morzine. We are a few days away from the Morzine race. So this is specifically designed for anybody who is doing this for the very first time. So my personal experience, so I've been doing Spartan races. I think my first one was like in 2012. We are now 2019, so that's like 7 years. Most years I've just done like one race a year, some years done multiple. I've done a fair few races now, and it's safe to say I freaking love Spartan races. Like, for me, I teach on all things on health, on happiness, on an adventure. And adventure, for me, a big part of that is doing Spartan races. And I have done some other obstacle races, but I'm quite loyal to Spartan. I do love a Spartan race. I love the ethos. I love the brand. I love everything that they're doing to create change. I love the fact that they are trying to get OCR, obstacle course racing, into the Olympics. I think it's just all fantastic. So I am a very go with the flow person. I spend most of my life winging it. However, over the past 7 years of doing Spartan races, that I thought there could be some value in the information of my own experiences that I could share with you guys. So the very first thing is freaking train for it. You have simply got to train for it. Having said that, that doesn't mean that you get the excuse of saying, oh, I'm not fit enough to do this. Like, I have literally seen, and not to be disrespectful, but like really big people who you would think, oh, they're not so fit, or you know, whatever judgment you'll place, and I'm like, good on you, they are freaking doing it. And that is the thing, it is something for every level of fitness. So if you don't already know, there are three, well, there are actually multiple race distances now, but the basic ones are the sprint, so that is 7k plus. So when they say plus, it can be anything over that. I have done a sprint that was just short of 11 kilometers, a winter one in Valmorel. It was totally a super, and I should have got a super medal. Anyway, it was classified as a sprint, so it's 7 plus, so it can be anything up to and in between the next level. You then have the super, which I believe now is 12k plus, and then the beast is 25k plus, and then we have the ultra, which I'm doing this year. Ultra prep is a whole different thing, and I'm doing a whole different video on that. Is 50k plus, so there is really something for every level. So yeah, you've got to train for it. You don't have to be a runner. If you like, when I first started doing Spartan races, I was like, I hate running. I hate every single step. Hate it. And I would do a sprint distance just by doing HIIT training. I think mobility training is massively underlooked when you come to do Spartan pace. The better you can move, the better you can haul your body over the obstacles. Work on your upper body strength. Something that when people come to me with such a challenge, especially women, is they always come and say, I have no upper body strength. You don't have any upper body strength because you don't train it. As soon as you start to train it, guess what? It improves. So hanging from things, practicing doing chin-ups, pull-ups. If you've got access to a rope, get climbing a rope. Just have fun with your training. Just start to move your body, but start to challenge yourself. And actually, I find that the style of strength and mobility training that is often find, like if you're looking at like kind of boot camp fitness, they're going to prepare you excellently for doing a Spartan race. So first of all, just don't be a div, don't go in there with like no training. Try and have done a little bit. You're going to feel far happier during the race. Next up is kit. What to wear for a Spartan race. I have done many faux pas. Like, I have run races quite a few times in shorts, and you'll see a lot of people racing in shorts. However, I had this one experience. I was in Italy. It was hot. The very first obstacle was to go through a trench of water. So what then happened is my body was wet. I had shorts on. By the end of the race, I think this was super. So yeah, it was a super. So maybe I think I'd worn, no, I've done a beast in shorts before because I've got the pictures. Anyway, the point is that we got wet instantly. It was hot, it was sticky. What happened? We had the most horrendous chub rub you have ever seen. So if you don't know what chub rub is, it's like when you're a non-thigh gap kind of girl, like most of us are, right? When your thighs are like rubbing together and they're hot and sweaty, oh my gosh, it was like red raw skin. For days afterward, because we stayed in Italy, did a bit of sightseeing and everything, walking around with shorts on, it was horrendous. So safe to say, ever since then, I have never worn shorts. And in fact, I personally, even in hot weather conditions, prefer to have a full length legging. That is just my personal preference. You'll see people wearing all different types of things. I also have very tight calves, so I like to have a compression legging. Also, you've got to be thinking about, you're going to be crawling around on the floor. There's going to be stones, there's going to be gravel. And it's fact, in Italy, that time when I did it in shorts, there was the longest barbed wire crawl I have ever, no, it wasn't, it was in Paris. It was in Paris, I correct myself. The longest barbed wire crawl I have ever experienced. And I don't even know how far it was. It was just horrendous. And underneath, it was all gravelly rocks and stones. I was literally cut to death. And that day I actually did the super and then did the sprint straight after. So I had to do it twice. That was pretty horrendous. So especially on things like that, I want to have my body covered up. So I would say for me personally, full length leggings. If you have a pair that you are not that bothered if they're going to get ripped and destroyed, because the chances are they probably will be. They get caught on barbed wire, you can catch them as you're climbing over things. You know, don't be too downhearted if they get trashed. I actually, last year for the Beast here in Morzine, I had sewn up a pair of compression leggings, like stitched them together over the first obstacle. What happened? They ripped. I did the whole Beast, 6 hours of running, with people running past me going, you know your ass is showing. What you gonna do? You just gotta get on with it. So I ran the whole race with my ass showing. C'est la vie. Shit happens. You just gotta get on with it. So think about what it is that you're gonna wear. I quite like to run in the Spartan running tops. Again, this action here, we tend to get a bit of chub rub going on if you don't have a top. So whatever you're gonna wear, try and have done a little bit of a run in it beforehand. I prefer to wear a sleeved. Everybody has personal preferences, but think about the type of clothes that you like to work out. If you're like the person who's like, no, I'm going to be too freaking hot, take that into consideration. Wear something comfortable, wear something that you're not going to be bothered if it gets absolutely destroyed, because chances are it will. One thing that comes up a lot, do you wear gloves? For me personally, I do not train with gloves on. I do not like wearing gloves. Again, you will see a lot of people on the course with gloves on. It comes down to personal preference. The only time I have ever worn gloves was during a winter race. And even then, I think I just took them off because they annoy the hell out of me. My hands all sweaty. I like to know that I've got my own grip. Yes, some of the obstacles are going to be wet and they're going to be hard to grip. So maybe a glove would be beneficial on those. They're not for me. If you train with gloves on, then maybe it might be something that you want to consider. But look into the different types of gloves. When it comes down to your footwear, if this is your first time, you maybe don't want to invest in a pair of trail trainers if that's not something that you're going to use all of the time. So just try and use a pair of trainers that have got a good, sturdy grip in them. I personally like to use the Salomon Speed Cross. They are my favourites. I have just invested in the 5, which is an upgraded model, super light, super comfy, comfier than any I have worn before. I will put a link to these in the comment in the description. But yeah, I'm really seriously loving these trainers right now. I am about to run my first ultra in them, so maybe I will give a better rundown and review once that run is complete. So yeah, again, your trainers are probably going to get trashed. Trainers wash quite all right, and that would be something to consider afterwards. If it's going to be wet during your race, there is going to be a lot of mud, a lot of mud. You're going to be pulling it out of your ear for weeks. So again, I invest in new trainers because for me they serve a purpose of getting me through the race in the most comfort. The Speedcross have an incredible, the lugs on them are like this in the tread, so they grip amazing. But if this is your first time doing a sprint or a super, just, you know, wear whatever you can get your hands on. If you can find something that you've got with a good tread, go with that. Always make sure that they're a really comfortable fit, and that you have done some running distance in them. Next up is your race day. So think about what you're going to put in your end of race bag. I use the Kit Bricks. It is an awkward bag to carry, but it is awesome for putting all of your stuff in and having wet kit available. So the main things that you need in your end of race bag are: have some nutrition in there. So have maybe some fruit, maybe a energy bar or protein bar. Have some water in there. You will be given all of those at the end, but I always like to have my own. You are going to need a full change of clothes, including underwear, everything, full change. You will have a race t-shirt if you complete it at the end of the race. So always put a spare top in, you know, just in case, but we've got to remain positive. We've got to visualize that race finisher t-shirt, but you're going to get a race finisher t-shirt. So just think underwear, everything else that you want to wear, clean shoes, clean socks. They're going to feel like amazing when you put them on. And of course, a towel. Yeah, I think that's it for the bag. So nutrition, some water, a change of clothes and a towel all in your bag at the end. Then when it comes to actual race day and the day leading up to your race, it is important to really get your nutrition on point. So a lot of people will talk about carb loading. Unless you're going to be doing like the ultra, I really wouldn't shift your nutrition that much. Maybe eat a little bit more the day before and maybe have a slightly higher carbohydrate meal. But the most important thing that you can really do is making sure that you hydrate. Because if you're drinking shed loads of water in the morning of your race to hydrate, you're going to be needing a wee. So focus on hydration the day before or the days leading up to. Lots and lots of water. If you not have any electrolyte salts, then you could consider adding just a little bit of rock salt into your water with a squeeze of lemon, and really focus on upping your intake those days before. And like I say, eat your normal type of food, maybe just eat a little bit more in the couple of days before. Then on race day, for me, I like to get up super early, like a long time. You're generally going to need to be there at least an hour before your start time. That's going to give you the time to go to the last minute toilet, to sort out your bag drop, to get your headband on and all your registration details. If you haven't done that on the day before, it's going to give you a chance to do all of those things. So get up super early in the morning, have a good solid breakfast. For me, that looks like porridge with some banana with some honey. I'm taking electrolytes in the morning. I am hydrating, green tea. I don't drink coffee, but if you want a coffee. And then one of the most important things is make sure you have a poop before you leave the house. And I think that's why it's essential to get up that little bit earlier, so that you can like start to digest your food a little bit and get it out before you get to the race. Because, you know, pooping in a portaloo, well, it's probably going to happen. Like if you're anything like me, I'm going to have a good one before I leave the house, but then I'm probably going to have another before I set off. There's this wonderful thing called adrenaline that encourages your body, this natural process to like want to get it all out. Then when you get started on your race, like especially if you're running either the super or the beast, fair warning, if you start running and you think, feel a little bit windy, maybe it's just a little bit of a trump, don't do it. Trust me, it will not be. You've made this mistake before, and it literally, you may well shat your pants. Like, not to scare you or anything, but just get all that stuff out of the way before you head onto the race site. And yeah, I think that is roundabout in it all. If you have any further questions, pop them into the comments and I will come in. And this is just a sharing of my experience. But most of all, Spartan races are meant to be fun. If you are in the open waves, then, you know, enjoy the camaraderie that goes on. There's lots of whooping, there's lots of aroos, you know, supporting everybody as you go around. People will be there to hoist you over a wall, to get you over. Remember, you are doing this as a challenge. You're doing it because it's meant to be fun. You're doing it because it's giving you something to train on and to focus on. And the feeling that you get when you hit the finish line, you've got that medal in your hand, you've jumped over the firewall, you're feeling amazing. You're like, yes, I love it. Like, this is why I do Spartan. I do get super excited about it because it's like, ah! And you just want to be like, when's the next one? So I really hope that you found this video useful. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to these videos so I know that this is the kind of stuff that you want more of. And like I said, any questions, stick them in the comments, and I hope to see you soon at a Spartan race very soon.